Hey guys, hey guys, hey guys. We're back. We're back in another stream. We're back, and yeah, we are live today on our channel, on the channel, the one and only Hot Fuzz 44 channel. Um, and there's no Sunday night takeaway settings today. Sadly, no Sunday night takeaways. Tony's got some issues in personal life that he's got to got to deal with, and some things to take care of. Important matters. Matters that come first before anything else, of course. So, well wishes for things over that way. As for everybody else, hope everybody else is doing fine and all is well with all you fine folks. And yeah, we'll just fancy going live and chatting about a little bit of something that's stirred my attention. Um, it's piqued my curiosity. Not that I think there's really going to be an awful lot that will come of it, but in this life, I think we've all learnt to essentially say never. So we'll make the most of what we know. And what we know is that, as per the title of the show, is that Adrian Rabiot is still currently a free agent. Nobody wants him. He is unwanted. Nobody wants to sign him. And as long as nobody wants to sign him, there is still very much a possibility that Manchester United, a club that very much has been linked with him multiple times, not just for this summer transfer window, but previous summers gone by, um, that, yeah, Manchester United's a suitable place for him. Now, I sort of want to gauge what everyone's feelings are about this because as far as I'm concerned, it's not a transfer that excites me. I'm not necessarily excited by, a prospect of Rabiot, considering he's not all that. He's not what some may say, or some may call the bee's knees. Not really, but yeah, I don't know about other clubs. I think, assuming that everybody else doesn't really want to take the hit or jump, um, make the jump for Adrian Rabiot. Whether any of the fan bases feel the same, I don't know. Ravi Bikari, good to see you. Hope all is good with you, brother. Big ups to you. Um, but yeah, essentially with Manchester United, would Rabiot fit in the picture? Would he fit the bill? Would he serve purpose for Manchester United? And maybe there is a role in the team, but it's like I don't really know because do you know what? I'd almost say that he's like a French in terms of player comparison or player type comparisons. Maybe we'd call him a French Scott McTominay. In the sense that he'd almost be used for the same thing. Um, yeah, not really somebody that really excites me. A bit of baggage that comes with him as well. Are United still interested in Rabiot? I thought that was done now. I thought so too, but it's one of those things because Rabiot still hasn't signed for anybody. He's not a player for anybody's club at the moment. Um, so yeah, it's yeah, it's a possibility. It could still happen. He's out there. He's maybe I won't say couch surfing or club surfing because he's not at a club anymore. Um, but yeah, hello, Mr. Hoffers. Hello, Jamino. Sorry about yesterday afternoon. That what do you make? There's something else that piques my curiosity, Jamino. What do you make of the Declan Rice celebration for that goal yesterday? Do you think he was? I've seen people labeling it woke. It's a woke celebration. You know, just like, oh, I'm sorry to the country that I used to have my allegiances to, rather than celebrating a goal for the country I currently represent and play for. I don't know. I've got split feelings about it. I think there's a little bit of a have a bit of balls about you, or just have a bit of pride for the shirt that you do currently represent. Because it's just like, sorry guys, it's like going to a party. You've moved on. You've got your current wife. You go to a party and you see your ex girlfriend there, and you feel bad. Like, you genuinely feel bad about her, and not like a bad sort of like, oh, why is she here? It's like oh, maybe I haven't quite gotten over her, or something like that. It sort of gives those types of vibes. Can't lie. Big up Fuzzy, you're on mute. But anyways, big ups to Anthony Herbert. If you can lip read, I wasn't muted the whole time. I wasn't muted. I was just throwing. I was throwing everybody in the chat. But anyways, big ups to Anthony. Hope all is good with you. Hope the Sunday is smashing. But United need killers, not soft like Andrix type players. Yeah, I mean, there's an interview that I've seen on the timeline. Roy Keane, post-match interview after Man United beat Arsenal. I think it was 4-2, and just in terms of the questions, the questions he was given, the answers he gave to them. No, there's no real BS to it. It's almost like a bit of like a an essence of like a malice about it, where it's just like, a part of him he's not telling the full, like, what he wants to say, but he's not holding like all of it back either. It's like it's a proper it's presence, the captain's presence, which is something that I feel like modern day football, forget Manchester United for a second, but modern day football's missing it. Hi, says Manchester is red forever. Facts. Facts, Manchester is red forever. But big ups to you, buddy. Rabiot's mum killed his career. Do you know what? Players and picking their agents, right? I don't really necessarily like always think it's a bad idea having family members represent you as your agents, but sometimes it goes the right way. Other times, maybe it goes a little astray, a little wayward. So yeah, I don't. I think in Rabiot's case, I think the demand side of things from agent side, aka his mother, um, I think the demands have superseded his credibility as a player, and he doesn't match up. There's no balance there. I think he's put himself. I think he's cornered himself a little bit. To be honest, sound is working. Oh, I sure hope so. Um, I used to skip school to watch Sir Bobby Charlton and Hendrick. Oh. I can't remember what it was. I think there was like some footballing event during one of the summers at my secondary school, and they actually set everything up. I think they'd begged hard enough at my school at the time, and they begged hard enough to actually set up something for like lunch breaks whilst the tournaments were going on. And yeah, they set things up for people to actually watch football, and I think they did it a couple times actually. To be fair, unfortunately, they didn't stop school for it, which is a shame. It would be great if they just stopped school. just to appreciate watching football. I'm still fuming about it as the first Ireland game I went to, and my two least favourite players were the two that scored. Yeah. So that was what was it? Was that Jack Grealish? It was Jack Grealish and Declan Rice. I think pretty sure it was Jack Grealish. That was the other player that scored that game. I just clarify that. Just double check. Yes, it was Jack Grealish, and it was actually Declan Rice that set up Jack Grealish's goal. But actually, speaking of which, what are people's opinions on that game? Lee Carsley ball. It's like it almost felt like the performance is comparable to that of a PR statement released by a new official set board or something, when they're like, "Oh, we're here to take charge and make change." It's a statement that goes out to get people on side. It felt like a performance that was trying to get fans on side with a Lee Carsley England project, considering he's the interim coach at the moment. Whether that goes on to Lee Carsley gets the job permanently, I sure damn hope not. I just want a real manager in there, like a proper manager with emphasis, genuine emphasis, and a bit of pedigree and respect among the peers. Not somebody who's within the system, serves as a corporate stooge and makes tea better than anybody else, and that be the criteria needed to make the managerial position. Because if that's the case, then maybe I can perfect my tea making abilities, and maybe I'll end up with a footballing job for the FA. I don't know. I don't know what the criteria really well and truly is for the FA when it comes to recruiting management, but they've really missed the mark in pretty much every appointment since the World Cup win of 1966. But anyhow, him refusing to celebrate actually pissed me off even more. Fucking Michael, we don't claim him as Irish, and we never will. Trying to keep the peace, he's just made himself like an even bigger fool. Supposedly, he says that the lack of celebration was because of his grandparents or something being Irish, and he felt like celebrating against Ireland would be an insult to them. But it's like there's so many different ways that you can actually honor, memory of your grandparents, like representing a different country. Like maybe the fact that you're playing professionally. It's not like, oh well, me playing for England, the English national team is a real big spit on the graves of so and so. Like, well, no, because family, like a genuine family support, would not sit there and say, "I hate you." They'd be like, "Well, I'm proud of you for representing, a major national team, and your career choice in terms of clubs you've played for club and country." Like everyone would be more or less on side with you. I think the day that you decide, well, I'm going to stop celebrating goals. I mean, Christ, I think it's a look through the window into a world where everyone's scared of doing certain celebrations because they might feel like they're stepping on somebody else. I'm not sure if we're on the same page with that. Mike, little fella here seems to be going all right. To be honest, I would like to get a more sort of like a proper microphone setup thing. I was looking at that recently whilst I was looking for some new mobile Bluetooth headsets for my journeys to and from work. Create a bit of ambiance. Booing Rice, Grealish, and the English anthem was the most entertaining part of it, which shows how shut the Republic team of Ireland actually are. Well, you know what? That's a funny thing about the game is that despite I think it was more second half, despite like not really being all too competitive, there are several instances where Ireland had snapshots at goal and good chances. Our players giving the ball away in pretty much in and around our own box and not really tracking runners per se. But yeah, I mean there were chances for Ireland, but I think just by default England's just turned up and just conducted business for the most part. No flashy, crazy score lines or all out attack, even though technically I would have liked to have seen that. Um, you know, a bit of welly, giving it a bit of welly on the pitch would be nice to see an England team just run riot and smash some teams up rather than try and you know shiver your timbers your way over to a 1 or 2 nil win, especially in a game that's essentially a friendly. I know they say it's qualifiers, but still, I perceive it as friendlies. Do we need another striker? The club say no. I say yes. I say yes. I believe it. Manchester United, 100%. Get another striker. I mean, it's crazy to think that nobody really is saying this out loud a little bit more. Is that when Xerxes starts on the pitch with Hoyland out injured, and you look on the bench and you're like, so our striker substitution is Wheatley. And it's like I don't want to rain on Wheatley's parade, but my man's still an academy player, pretty much. He's not necessarily like fit for purpose of third choice striker for the first team. He's still got to cut cut his teeth a bit, and without depth in first team quality is an issue for a long season, and it just feels like again it's a club dynamic where people feel like yes, smaller squads are better, less players to train and focus on, and it's almost like you keep the crop more in sync to this training for a system. And I think that's probably one of the biggest issues that we'll have with smaller squads is that everyone's trying too hard to make a system work. What Manchester City have is essentially a smaller squad, same sort of size as an Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, but looking at the quality pound for pound, all the players that you rotate with are higher quality, much higher standard. All these other teams have first team quality, and then your bench is, yeah, it's it's mediocre. I think clubs, the more that clubs get away from having to have everything solely systematic and that everything's got to be convoluted tactics and everything, and focus more on just perfecting the footballers there, or getting them to develop into proper footballers, would one take away from the tactic side of things, make implement simplistic game plans. And I think you can essentially focus on player development, and it's a lot easier to develop players that really flourish in terms of natural football talent. Because I think the system from grassroots up to the top, you see sometimes a lot of players at grassroots Sunday leagues, lower leagues, where tactics and systems are not really forefrontal, like they're not the focus, there's not the big picture here. You'll see some of your more natural talented players do a madness on a football pitch. You won't see players do a madness on a football pitch in the same nature, though sometimes a player will go on an individual run or something. It's like, oh, glimpse of magic. That used to be in abundance for 90 minutes. Literally from week to week to week, just abundance of this madness going on the football pitch. You don't really see it now because everyone's trying to do what the manager says and run to the byline, look like you're going to do a couple step overs and then play the 5 yard pass back to your fullback, rather than the player doing that because he felt like, well, my situation, I'm not able to take a man on here. My teammate is here because he knows, like, we're interconnected, telepathically linked. He knows what I'm going to do. He knows when I need his support, and working out an in sync way of playing football that way, rather than it being coached like minute by minute. That's just how I feel about football. And I feel like sometimes systems do tend to dampen the player's potential. I do feel like it dampens the player's potential a little bit. Trip Vic, big ups to you, man. Good to see you. Hope all is well with you. Stream with Mark N, MUFC fan. I do not know. I don't know who Mark N is. Endrick is Bobby Charlton's childhood best friend. Okay. Cyril Malacia, back from death, like Undertaker. Who's followed by the agent Teddy Long. Can you imagine if Teddy Long comes out at Old Trafford and announces Cyril Malacia's return to first team football? Whoever's starting left back just gets immediately dropped to the bench. Can you imagine the absolute scenes? It'll be something that I think a lot of United fans would just switch off the television in disbelief. But what a way to make it, to announce a comeback to first team football. I don't think he's all. Yeah, I think Tyrell Malacia's got a huge journey to have to go on to get back into the first team picture at Manchester United, or at any level comparative. Like, I think it's probably set for him to move back to the Netherlands, back to an Eredivisie team, to find his footing again, or to rediscover why Tyrell Malacia would have been looked at in the first place. Because I remember watching him for I think it was Feyenoord was his previous team. The guy did quite a solid job for Feyenoord. So I thought, you know what, I can see this as a signing that we can get behind, but it's not quite followed up. We've not seen it continue. Endrick is a clown. There's Trip Vic's verdict on the matter. Taib Hussein, hi Hoffers. How we doing, Taib? Hope all is well with you. Endrick is not a clown. He's just joking. We should try Todibo next season. Well, if we plan on doing a madness with hijacking, a deal with West Ham, if they can sort out the legalities on the UEFA front, which I don't know. Maybe they can sort out the legalities with it, given that we've recently appointed Jean-Claude Blanc to a seated position in UEFA. Maybe there's something that they can sort out on that front. But at the same time, I think Manchester United might just be looking at the whole prospect of Todibo as a Manchester United player and thought, it's just not worth it. We've got a million other things that we can focus on and prioritise first. You in UK? Yes, I am. Can you not see that it's not sunny outside? It's muggy and grey, and we've had it all today. To be fair, we've had torrential downpours, we've had thunderstorms, we've had sunshine, and the only thing really we're missing is snow. We're just missing snow. Maybe there's another cloud that's come overhead, so maybe the snow's coming. Maybe it is coming to snow. Our manager is a part-time Icelandic dentist. Be glad you have Carsley. Poor Jamina. I'll tell you what, if we get a real manager, we'll give you Carsley. we'll give you Carsley. Arsenal Manic, good evening, Fuzzy. Good evenings to you, Arsenal Manic. Hope all is well with you. Good to see you as always. Fuzzy, I've been playing Football Manager 24. I don't know what I was thinking. I took over Man United, won in the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, finished fourth in my first season. If Eric Ten Hag is sacked, I should get the job. Mate, I'm pretty sure that game, most people just wing it and they end up doing better than some people that actually try. Like, it's a weird game. It's a weird game, Football Manager. It's a weird game. Like, it's good. It's a good game, genuinely good game. But sometimes the understanding of how it all works is just like, this is way above my pay grade. And I don't even get paid for it. It feels like it's a sort of thing that if you play it religiously, it's like, well, bloody hell, might as well get paid for it. Pay me. Pay me to play this game, to understand this game. Please, I beg. Sebastian Halle from Dortmund, or Iopenda from RB Leipzig, or Luke de Jong from PSV. De Jong, age-wise, I think it's probably a bit more of a no-no for me, and I don't think the club would entertain Luke de Jong. Openda, possibly. Sebastian Haller, I don't think he's at Dortmund anymore. I think he actually moved away. Sebastian Haller, where are you at the moment? Yeah, so he's moved to Leganes. Leganes in Spanish Serie A. So yeah, I don't know if that was a loan deal that he went to Leganes or whether that's a permanent deal. But yeah, he's jumped ship from Dortmund. Big up Fuzzy, big ups to Stephanie Griffith. Hope everything's good with you. Good to see you. Arteta can't develop any player no matter how small the squad. It's like Gordon Ramsay's comment. Oh, if you open a restaurant, stick one table in it. Any more, you'll be fucked. So I extend this courtesy to you, Mr. Arteta. I extend the same courtesy. If you ever start a football club, sign one player. Any more than that, and you'll sink it to administration. Big ups to DJ Crane. Hot Collins 44. Absolutely fucking not. That is disgracia. That is a disgracia. Toby. Toby? Toby. I'm gonna call you Toby now. Toby Inara. Toby Inara. Fuzz, for you, what sort of players suits the current United style? People that are good with the ball at their feet, good with distribution under pressure, under a high press, good composure, not the sort that are panicky, and good range on delivery. I want creative players. I want creative players, and my strikers to be very clinical strikers, creative attackers, solid, composed DMs, solid, no nonsense centre backs, and classic. I prefer classic fullbacks with a bit of a mean whip on them, not the sort of whip that you use to go after somebody. Nah, like that sick in swinging cross or out swinger, no matter what foot it's on, the cross sweetly delivered to the head of the striker. That for me is ideally. And for me, I just prefer a classic goalkeeper. I prefer a classic goalkeeper that can save things. You know, when somebody on the other team shoots the ball at your goal, somebody who can just like put their hands towards the ball and catch it, or stop the ball from going in the goal. You know, those sort of goalkeepers. Take me back, please, to a time where goalkeepers were good with their hands. People want to say, well, goalkeepers have got to be good with their feet. I say different. I say a goalkeeper's not meant to have the highest passing accuracy on a football pitch. He's meant to have the highest save rate on the pitch. Sometimes defenders have better saving records than the goalkeepers do in 90 minutes. It's weird. It's really weird. Um, Evening, Fuzzy. Good evening, Carl Rossi. Hope all is well with you, buddy. How we doing? Back your manager, says Dow. Absolutely not. No, I've seen what I've seen this season, and I've decided. I've decided on how I feel about this project, the Ten Hag project. Um, but anyways, good to see you. Hope everything's good with you. Hope your Sunday has been swell. A swell Sunday. Back him off a cliff. Big ups, Oregon, Rossi. Back him off a cliff. Damn. Well, be a bit much. I'll be a bit much backing him off a cliff. That's just attempted murder, but I see where you're coming from. BS to DJ. 7 watching with 11 likes, Fuzzy. Fantastic. Fantastic performance. Excellent form, guys. Excellent form. We like to see that. Thank you very much to people liking the stream. Very kind, very kind. Fair enough. Question, Fuzzy. I've been thinking, doing my own show, what makes a good host? Because I haven't fucking seen one in my history of YouTube. Well, first and foremost, you've got to make it look like you've got a broomstick shoved up your ass, right? You've got to look like you're controlled by strings on a puppet, and you've got look like you've got something to wave around to make it look like you're every time you need to emphasize a point, something to wave around. And on this screen, you'll see somebody in their 50s in a G-string. Something like that. I don't know. I wouldn't know what would constitute to a good YouTube host. I think it's less about being a good YouTube host. Well, don't be the host. Be yourself. Be yourself. You know, let YouTube see the content of your character, and they'll give you the verdict. They'll give you their verdict in the form of likes, subscriptions, views, shares, comments, the whole works. The whole damn game of charades. So, but seriously, I do reckon that you starting your own show, and even if it's a show where you literally just waffle on for hours without things really coherently making any sense, people would still tune in. Literally, there's some people out there that just tune in and see a show and think, this guy's not making any sense, and I love it. They'll literally subscribe. It's one of those things where people, put it this way, Anthony, people on the internet have gotten mad famous and mad rich by staring at a screen and bobbing their head. Some people just looking at their screen just for hours straight. World famous, apparently. Talent off the charts. Who would have knew? Who would have known? It's crazy stuff. Arsenal X-rated Aaron. Big up fella, like and sub. Facts, and more facts. Triple facts. Like triple chocolate cookies. Triple facts. Also, subscribe likewise to Arsenal X-rated. Make sure you spread the love. If you're subbing here, you're subbing everywhere, people. But big thank yous for the endorsement there, Arsenal X-rated. It's always good to see you, Aaron. Hope your Sunday is being a smashing one thus far, and finishes strongly, because we've got the eve of the new week. I've got a busy week coming up as well, working in retail. Become an Arteta, Anthony. Yeah, an Arteta in. An Arteta inner, Anthony. Land airplanes on your show. land planes, like brown nose your manager, talk about how sexy he is, like Shawn Michaels' theme tune. It's just a sexy boy, sexy boy. He's from España, España. You know, it makes sense. You know it does. You know it does. Have a plan for a show and totally go against it. Have on literally in the background, have what some streamers have and a whiteboard, right? A whiteboard that says today's streams, and literally just jot down all the notes that you're going to have for the show and literally just do completely the opposite for every single point, just so that viewers looking behind, it's like, I swear he's meant to talk about this, but he's doing the opposite. That would be gold if somebody actually, I don't think anybody's done that idea yet, where the whole purpose is that they write down in the show notes one thing, but they actually do a show completely do the polar opposite, like working an opposite day show or something. So what you're saying, Fuzzy, is be a see you next Tuesday. Sometimes it gets clicks being a see you next Tuesday. You know, doing it for the Vine, as they used to call it back in 2012, 2014. Do it for the Vine. Do it for the Vine. The proper, like, classic 7-second videos that we thought were the funniest thing on God's green earth. But now we realise how cringe the videos are now that we've seen people degenerate even further. You know, it's yeah, I don't know. Vine was the start of the downfall of the human race. At least on the internet it was. I would never be Arteta in unless he wins the league. And that's the point of the show. That's the point of the show. Your stream, your show notes, Arteta in, Arteta amazing, Arteta beautiful. And then your show content is Arteta's a bum, Arteta's ugly. A man hasn't switched his hair in about 30 years. He's had the same haircut for 30 years. Who knows? Who knows? And yeah, but even then, he would only get to May to August before he needs to win it again. Well, true that. True that. Oi, oi. Rossi, my man. But yeah. So, what else? What else have we got? That's right, Aaron. Fucking legs head. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. There's another talking point. Let's go a little bit more international football. Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe. Starting off his Real Madrid career a little bit dry for goals. Seems to have, in the last game, found his footing a bit. 2 goals, open play, and then also a penalty. What are we thinking about Kylian Mbappe? Just sitting the follow-up correction there. That to me that's an even better comment about Arteta. Fucking legs head twat. Legs head. Crikey. But yeah, for me, Kylian Mbappe. It's one of those where it's like you'd expect him to walk in there into that Real Madrid team and just sort of be like the final missing piece. Before that Real Madrid team comes the ultimate final boss club on the planet that nobody can beat. But yeah, first 2 games, both of them draws, dropped points, and Mbappe, biblical stinkers, stinkers and hooked, but found his feet a little bit in the 3rd game. What do we think about Mbappe at Real Madrid? Do we think he's gonna set the world alight there, or maybe it might be a project that It sells really well, sells the tickets, but doesn't quite reward. It's not quite rewarded with success. Not sure. Not sure. For me, I think Mbappe is not the sort of talent that a player on his own is. Is somebody that carries teams or carries performances. It's not the same level as like Real Madrid having Karim Benzema, Ronaldo, and Bale as its front three. Like that front three is miles, millions upon millions of miles better than this Real Madrid's front three. Any day of the week. Some people in modern football might tell you, "Oh, do you know what? I'd maybe take Vinicius Junior over Cristiano Ronaldo. I'd definitely take Rodrigo over Gareth Bale, professional golf player and all, and Kylian Mbappe, and you're comparing him to dead ballers like Benzema. Who's a Benzema? Is that German car manufacturer with that round symbol with the three, you know, thing, that 3 star thing, like whatever you call it? Is that what a Benzema is? Seriously, I reckon there'll be fans out there that will have those perspectives, those opinions. I mean, already there's people saying that trophyless Arsenal players are better than, you know, Champions League winning Real Madrid players. So, you know, it is what it is when it comes to those sort of things. Secret to his hair isn't hair gel. It's being fed man's meat for 30 years. I figured there was an intrinsic, like there it was Arteta and the Salt Bay guy, the connection when they stared into each other's eyes as Arteta chowed down on the meat of Salt Bay, of course, dished up to him, but maybe there was something else going through the mind of the Spanish manager when he was being fed meat. Because he's probably hoping, Hunt, I wish it weren't. I wish it weren't. I wish it weren't the steak that was being popped in my mouth there. You know, I was hoping it was something else, but kind of illegal to have those thoughts out in that country, though. To be fair, so I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know if that's the wisest thing. 5 years, this matey has been failing. At the end of this season, no silver, no job, plain and simple. I think just even, well, yeah, no silverware, but if there is regression, if you finish lower than second, I'll tell you what, if you finish lower than second, I'd love to see what people's narrative will be. I would like to see what people's narrative would be. You know, if he starts regressing in league position without any silverware, because people will say, well, you know, we trust, or I think it's going to be our year. I think it's going to be our year. But then it goes backwards, and people who say, well, this Arsenal team, you can't deny it, guys. Even the toxically positive United guys that are, you know, creating Arsenal content for love nor money, um, or not for love nor money. Um, for me, it's a weird concept that, you know, United fans, self-proclaimed United fans, writing love stories about Arsenal Football Club. It's weird. Like, these people are weird, genuinely weird. But it's those people that constantly sing the most praise that makes you wonder. But it's like they're banking on this having to work. It's like, for them, it's gotta work. Can't not work. This project can't fail. Can't possibly fail. It's not possible. It doesn't compute. My computer says no. My computer says no to this. And it's just a meltdown that's pending for when progress is undeniably absent from this season. I reckon there would be people out there saying, oh, because we really pushed City the last 2 years, we had to have an off year. Can't expect us to be perfect every season. My geez, the seasons you challenged, you weren't perfect. You weren't perfect, it's why you didn't win the league. How on earth? How on earth are you going to say or spin? How on earth are you going to spin season challenging for a title number 3 with then finishing lower league positions than you did the last 2 seasons? It's not going to bode well. And I think there's going to be a lot of people on the internet changing some narratives, changing some feelings. I think a bit more. And you know what? I think that's where you'll start to see some proper divides in the fan base about the manager. Is when it's undeniable that this season would be a failure if they were to finish lower than second without a trophy. That people will actually, some people will start to smell the, start to smell the trash and think, yeah, this isn't what I was sticking my neck on the line for here. This is not what I was almost promised that would happen with this project, with this process. This phase is phase death. We're phasing the coffin now. It's lost its spark. There's nothing special about it anymore. And I think when people start to see that, that's when people start to say to each other, well, actually, I know you really back this guy, but I backed him too, I backed him too. But it's undeniable now. We can't back this anymore. We can't back this anymore because we were talking about pushing on for titles, 3rd season challenging in a row. Surely there has to be the straw that breaks the camel's back and actually push over the line. But this straw broke the camel's back that made us realize, well, actually, we're not serious about pushing for the title. We're serious about pushing for Champions League qualification every year. Finishing second place is a bonus. It pushes a narrative. It pushes that this Arsenal team is overachieving, and and that's the thing. Arteta in the first season where Arsenal were challenging 97% champions, 3% lose everything. People like that were saying, well, Arteta overachieved that with that squad. And some people said, no. Sometimes he, as for that squad, sometimes it overperformed. That I can get behind. I can say, yeah, possibly. There were games where that team overperformed and looked quite unbeatable on those days. But I think with teams being able to expose a weakness, Arsenal themselves dropping a gear or two in intensity for across 90 minutes, allowing opposition to get in, score a goal here or there, and the team dropping crucial points. I think just this repeat process non-stop eventually is going to lead to the point where we're sat here thinking, right, so Arteta still on the brink of winning a title. He's been trying or on the brink of winning a title for how long is it? 6, 7, 8 years now. And I'll tell you what, I think it's a perception that some fans assume that it's like FIFA career mode, where if you don't win it this season, you're 99.99999% most likely going to win it the next season. You can only if there's progression, that means we're definitely going to win it. And maybe Arsenal will one day win the Premier League, just not with how the club is right now, unless City have a cataclysmic drop off or disappear, get face expulsion from footballing leagues and get dropped down to Sunday League or something, based off of whatever happens with the 115 charges. Um, yeah, for me, it's not quite all it's going to crack up to be, and Arsenal, they have to fight that. If you wanna if we wanna justify Arteta keeping his job, you're going to have to fight against that current that anything less than second place or exactly matching your league position is the only way that anyone is going to be able to cover up the facade that is Mikel Arteta is one of the best managers in the league, and he's going to take Arsenal to winning a Premier League. Big up A plus Aaron. Yeah, I can't figure that front three take of Madrid. Yeah, it's night and day. It's like with Barcelona's front three. What is it? They've got Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, and is it Rafinha or somebody else that plays on the other side? That versus Messi, Neymar, and Suarez. I think I know which front three everyone's taking on planet Earth, but it's just the front threes from old, and some of the teams from old, when there was when players at their peak of their powers generally had higher quality. Mr. Man United, cheers to you. How are we doing? I hope everything is good with you. I believe it's the first time I've seen you in the channel. Forgive me if it is not your first time in the channel, but if not, welcome. Welcome on in. Hope you enjoy your stay. I wouldn't even let my missus feed me like that. I don't doubt anybody in this chat would not let this happen. But Arteta is quite an interesting individual, and maybe an interest that some people might not want to delve any deeper into. Granted, I probably would let her and her three sisters do. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We'll keep your secret safe with me, Aaron. Your secret safe with me. Unless they already know that that's exactly what you'd like to have happen. Which then I might just have to be a little bit jealous of the dynamic in personal life. Keep my steak in your mouth. Liverpool will probably win it if City went down. Do you know what? Do you know what the funny thing is that with minimal investment, Liverpool are still keeping around. Literally minimal investment, Liverpool are sticking around in the title picture. They're sticking in the title picture. So if Liverpool manage to win the Premier League, let's just say hypothetical here. Hypothetical. Let's say Liverpool win the league, Man City finish second and Arsenal finish third, right? Or Man City finish third with Arsenal finishing second. Hypothetical. Not saying this is ever going to happen. But let's say Liverpool win the league with this team. Liverpool made a net profit in the summer that they went from competing to winners. They changed the manager. Arsenal have been trying for 4 years. For 4 years to try and get into that position. And Liverpool sell more, make money in a transfer window, trying to chase down a Premier League title, and they go and cross the line. They cross the finish line, and it would be Arne Slot's first season doing it. Can you imagine the absolute scenes that would follow? And if there were not riots up outside the Emirates Stadium in response to that, I would genuinely be sat there just like, what is the ambition of that fan base? Genuinely, what is the ambition? because I can't imagine people talk about title talk in the Arsenal fan base and then witness that happen and then not be mad about it. Genuinely not be mad about it and just be like, they made profit, changed the manager, and still won a league before we did. We are not changing the manager, so we got to spend. And that's kind of what it's going to come down to. I think Arsenal, they spend a little bit, but when it needs to be that extra, that little bit extra, the necessary extra to make the jump, bridge the gap, they never complete the bridge. They get halfway across or almost there, touching the foundations of the other side, and then they just like, nah. They've decided we've run out of resources. Sorry, guys, can't complete the bridge. Don't worry though, we're going to go down the valley a little bit and build another bridge there, or try and build another bridge. Last time City won the Community Shield, the second placed team went on to win the league. I thought it was I think it's like the last several times the losers of the Community Shield were the team that ended up winning the league. It's just why Arsenal kept winning the Community Shield against City, and City was just like, we don't really care about it, to be honest. We're just going to go win the Prem. And this Man United lost the Community Shield. I think we've already put that thing to bed. But you know, it is what it is. We've already put that to bed. But anyhow. Let's not talk about Manchester United and title races right now, because we're kind of dusted. Weak in the knees, clicky old knees, and you can see it happening. Yeah, I mean, I can see it happening. It'll be painful. Being a Man United fan, watching a rival like Liverpool win a Premier League is quite sickening, genuinely sickening, and I would be a lot more desperate to demand my team go do more. Just like, hello, your rivals have just won a Premier League, a second Premier League after a 30-year hiatus. Guys, are we serious about this or what? Like, to me, genuinely, if Liverpool win the league this season, this summer transfer window, I've got to see Ineos absolutely throwing everything out the window. Like, anything that's toxic or hampering us or slowing us down. Like, I want to see some proper KGB type shit going on with Ineos, like making people disappear as like, this is what happens. This is what happens when your rivals actually beat us to the Premier League. This is what happens. You face consequences. Face consequences for your actions. Maybe not killing people, but maybe they do decide to, make people disappear. I don't know. I don't know what the resolve is for Ineos. First question: how much longer will Ineos give Ten Hag? I think if because the sort of people that they're putting in positions in terms of like analytical positions, I think it may depend on what their verdicts will be. If they watch this manager go through as like several more losses before the halfway point of the season, they will feed the information back to guys like Ashworth, Barada, and just say, well, look, this guy's not turning this around. From what I've gathered from my investigations, this guy's not turning it around, and I don't feel like he's going to turn it around, me personally, because he's not the sort of character that looks at what he's doing, seeing it's not working or that it's going wrong, and saying, we have to change this. We have to change it. We have to start with doing something that's going to benefit the club, that's going to benefit this team, and is going to save my job. But one thing we know about Man United managers is when it starts to go south, it never turns back north. It's just the slippery, icy slope. And his little wristband attached to his ice pick has snapped off, and he's now disappearing into the chasm below. So yeah, not great, not great in Ten Hag's case. So I can't imagine that they'll be holding on to him for that much longer, especially if results don't improve. For example, we don't beat Southampton. I think even drawing with them, even a draw, Ten Hag will come out in the comments, post-match comments, and say, "Well, we didn't lose. We didn't lose the game. It's a very difficult place to come. It's St. Mary's Stadium. I think I think me keeping Manuel Ugarte on the bench and starting Casemiro, it was very smart thinking by me, because it means that Ugarte is not injured for this game. We keep him for another week, fit and available." And yeah, Ineos will say, "Yeah, Eric, do you know who's not going to be fit and available by the time we get back to Carrington? You. You ain't going to be fit, because we're going to beat you to a bloody pulp when you get back for that disgusting display. And then you're not going to be available because you're not going to be in the job." Simply put, in retrospect to a bad result against Southampton. First, do you feel teams really fear playing United home and away? Nope, absolutely not. They don't fear Manchester United, and there's various instances where you can see that, because teams really do go. Like, if a team is afraid of the opposition, or like getting beaten and beaten badly, you'll see them be a lot more reserved. You'll see them not really like put in 110% to beating the opposition. It's like some teams that play against Arsenal don't go 110 miles an hour. They don't go like super like like high intensity for 90 minutes. They don't match it. And I don't necessarily think it's because our teams want to conserve energy because it's a long season. Because you beat Arsenal, you that's a big 3 points to pick up on the calendar. Massive 3 points to pick up on the calendar. But I do see that teams that drop the intensity against an opposition that is on paper better is because there is doubts about having the ability to beat that team. So if there is a fear factor, you'll see teams sit back, right? And see people say, well, that's just a game plan. Well, it's a game plan because they want to contain your threat, because you are a threat. And because if they don't contain you, they know you will beat them. So they have to default. They default to counter-attack. And that for me, Manchester United don't really play all that many teams at all that don't sit back and wait for the counter-attack. Usually you'll see teams come out for a press, and teams, when we're on the ball with possession and with our centre backs or our midfielders, you see there's a lot of movement with opponents off the ball. A lot of movement. Players going to a man, players closing space, cutting passing lanes. When you see Manchester City players in possession, there's opposition players are there, but they never press high to a man. They never do it. They never try it. They never attempt it. Conserving energy for when the ball gets into their own final third, or for the counter-attack. They don't think they can win the ball off of Manchester City high up the pitch. Teams believe they can with Man United. So it's like a team. They don't respect Man United. They don't. They don't respect Man United. We've got to build the fear factor. And I think Manchester United has definitely lost a lot of that. Plus, do you feel more and more players will choose to join other teams as United don't seem as attractive anymore? I think with what we've seen this summer, there's a few players that would have turned United down that haven't. I think what we get with this Man United football club at the moment, is that they're selling the project of a club that endeavours to achieve the highest honours in football. And I think, depending on who you are as a footballer, if you are not somebody who's chasing the bag, but rather chasing trophies, or you have ambitions to win trophies, even though you may not feel like you're going to win like trophies every single season at Manchester United, you appreciate it a lot more when you and your agent have conversations with somebody who's like, we want to win trophies at this club. The aim is to win trophies, and we value you as a valuable asset to achieving that. And it's like if you're a professional footballer and the top club is saying, listen, we want to win trophies. We believe you in our system, you in our club, playing for our club, will help us to achieve that. It'll be a very big help to achieve that. Straight away, you think, well, yeah, cool, 100%. I get to be, the star of the show, a star of a show. I think it's a case that it depends really on what you genuinely sell as a project, and the type of player as well that you do speak to. Um, I think with Manchester United, I think the name, there's still the case that with the name, it's such a significant name. Um, and I think as long as we are amongst the trophies or competing to win something, or if we do win something every year, players will always want to join a club that shows that it's got the ability to win trophies. So, so yeah, for me, I think 100% that players will still very much choose to join Man United instead of other teams rather than the opposite way round. I think it might be a tide turning if we still had the old regime, 100%, because beforehand it was all about money and commercial appeal. There's a lot of players that I think look at that and say, well, the football side's crap, and you haven't really got an awful lot of money to, for me to be commercially appealing. And look at the squad right now in terms of when it comes to selling players, nobody can really make a profit, barring club academy graduates. It's the only way we can make profits as academy graduates. Can't sell a player for good money, for somebody that we bought. We just can't. First, you also see that a certain amount of players at United look fully checked out and feel lost with a sense of direction. There are players that are mentally checked out. Like I'll religiously stand by Marcus Rashford being checked out of Manchester United. I'll religiously stand by that. Casemiro, I think, probably is checked out. Um, I think seeing some of the players having left in the summer, he's probably feeling like, well, I feel a little bit out of place here. And he probably does feel a little bit out of place, but you're on a massive wage. Um, with not that much time left on your deal, I don't think you're in a rush to leave. And I think it's that where you see players with the opportunity to challenge their ambitions. If you don't see a player get up and say, well, I want to play football. I want to play football, and I want to be a successful player. First and foremost, if they had the mentality that they want to play football and be a successful player, you would see them putting in 8 out of 10 performances and not 4 out of 10s every week. So that would solve its own issue with players that get the minutes at the club. Players that don't then see those minutes would be up and out of there. And doesn't matter about how much money they get paid. Sure, you want to keep, as close to the wages you have as possible, but be in the back of your mind absolutely willing if it means that you do leave the club at the end of the day and start afresh with a new challenge. Sure, there's going to be compromises there. So yeah, I think two names definitely. I think Harry Maguire is a player that I would say maybe not mentally checked out of Manchester United, but not the same, not the same level of ambition. Because yeah, for me, if I was looking at the way that this team was going, I would know that I'm not Ineos's type of player. I can't be. Surely I can't be. Because all the talk about modern football, this modern football, that highline, this highline, that, and tactical talk, where it's not in my comfort zone as a player, I would know that I'm not in the picture long term. So I would be making my plans. I would be drawing up the options I have and getting my agent to talk about, putting me in the shop window. What other clubs would want me? If a club suitable comes in, I'll assess that option and say to the board then, why we've been presented an offer by this club, um, and we know that that you don't see us here long term. Is that a transfer that we can push ahead with? And then the club would say yes. We'll happily say to that club. First, thoughts on that lad that got subbed on for Casemiro versus Liverpool? Toby Collier, I think thrown into the deep end a little bit. I do. I think came on and did an all right job. An all right. I wouldn't say he was great. I think he was okay, but it's not a sort of a player of that that type in that situation as a fringe starting 11 player, or you've just made it into the first team picture against Liverpool at Old Trafford, and you're being embarrassed at your home stadium. You don't go on there with the confident swagger of the new kid on the block that wants to make the impression. You're like a holy shit, I've got my work really cut out for me. The pressure is massively on. So it's a sink or swim type ordeal. But I do think he was thrown on in the deep end, which is a shame because even though the substitution of Casemiro was correct, it was never an easy. It was never going to be an easy job for Collier in a million years. But I see there's a lot of people saying, well, the guy that really, really coddling the player, saying that the guy's a kid, guy's a kid, he can't handle that pressure. He's not old enough, or he's not ready. I see a lot of people say, well, he's not ready. People forget just how old Toby Collier actually is. Kobbie Mainoo is younger than Toby Collier. He's younger. Kobbie Mainoo has had less time playing football, right, than Toby Collier has. Sure, Mainoo's ahead in development because think about it. You've spent a year in the team playing some high stakes games, and the older kid on the block by a year comes in, steps onto the football pitch. He's more likely to be a nervous wreck than the kid that's been around for a while. I think it's not really going to bode well. It's not really going to bode well, but the guy's 20. The guy is 20. We see a lot. Bloody Lamine Yamal is 17, I think now. Literally just turned 17 recently this summer. This man's looking like he's got the ability to carry performances, carry the team on his back with the ingenious creativity that he has, right? The raw ability, untapped potential, right? He's doing it all at 17 for Barcelona on the big stage. So there's a certain line. There's a certain line that I'll draw with my sympathies. I sympathise with his position in the squad and being put on in that situation. Of course, I do. I sympathise with that, but I don't feel like we need to coddle the guy. He's got to be able to, realise it. It'll be a shock to the system, but he needs to realise, the situation he's in. Anfield Uncle Rods, big ups to you, man. Hope all is well with you. Good to see you. First, with the way players move clubs, I do feel in the future we won't see real legends that we do. We'll look back like R9 Ronaldinho's and these types of players. I think monetary ambition has been a big killer, but also the overstimulation of tactics. Players are too stimulated to doing exactly word for word what a manager says, rather than listening to the coaches and senior presence in a player's life as to how to do this better, how to do that better. Like, if you're somebody that's coming through the academy as a winger, for example, if you're at Man United, having Cristiano Ronaldo tell you or teach you how to absolutely embarrass a defender. You don't have that. You have a manager telling you, as a winger, I do not want to see you dribbling recklessly like that. Days of Cristiano Ronaldo doing step overs and ending careers on the flanks is gone. It's behind us now. We don't think you've got that in you. Straight away, that's it. Career, goodbye, gone, goodbye. Straight away. The amount of players that I do really feel like are probably having their careers killed at the early stage because they're told not to do X, Y, Z and to do the simple 5-yard passing. I mean, the thing is that people expect players to reciprocate instruction on the error chance or the error likelihood that they're robots. Well, they're not robots. Sadly, they're not robots. For them, for corporate means, they're humans. So no matter how much you train somebody to make a 5-yard pass, there's going to be a point on the pitch where somebody who's trained the most on 5-yard passes is going to misplace a 5-yard pass. So it's almost as though having raw talent in a player's ability or repertoire to compensate for somebody not always getting all the simplistic basics right is a great way to combat where a player can be lacking in performance on the pitch in reference to a system, in reference to tactical instruction. Because if making the 5-yard pass and moving to this area of the pitch didn't work, and the player with all the talent, buckets of talent, then decides, you know what, screw this, takes the man on, beats him on the dribble, second guy tries to come and support and gets embarrassed as well, creates a half space and you place a shot and goes in. For a winger, you're going to get a lot more praise of that, and people go, oh my God, wow, brilliant talent. And then you just do that every week. Learn how to do it every week. Learn to build consistency into it, rather than trying to learn how to be completely a stooge systematic player. Kind of like the process that Grealish has gone on from where he was at Aston Villa to where he is at City. He goes from an attacking midfielder with the ability to have a creative spark there, a bit of an ingenious creative spark there, goes to City, gets put out wide, 5-yard passes please and draw a foul. Like, there's nothing uniquely special, genuinely special about Jack Grealish in a Manchester City shirt. He's great, he's good, very good player, but there's nothing that says Jack Grealish absolutely set the world alight for Manchester City, and he does it the only way that Jack Grealish knows how. You'll never hear that. Never. Ever, ever, ever. Savio, I'm pleading, even if it's for Manchester City, I'm pleading that Pep doesn't decide to, turn him. It's like, for example, Riyad Mahrez You saw how he was untapped and allowed to do what he wanted to do, a little bit of freedom there at Leicester City. We're like, wow, Riyad Mahrez, bloody hell, what a player. Great player, fantastic player. Goes to Manchester City. You only see him on the right hand side, occasionally cut in to use his left foot or keep ball out on the right. It's like, he's a great player, but we don't see just how much this guy is in terms of football talent, how vastly talented the players actually are. Savio comes in with the reputation. He comes in with the reputation as being one of the best performing wingers of all of last season in the world. Are we going to see this at Manchester City? I don't know. We saw it a little bit, but I really want to see it, week in, week out. Yes, he has just turned 70. Reference to Yamal. Fuzz, who do you see in the United team that can really teach the youth coming through? That's the good question. That is the good question. Who is there? And it goes back to leaders in the team. Who is an out and out cut out leader in that team? You could probably say Martinez might, provide useful information to other centre backs as to, how to conduct your ability and aggression, like your temperament as a centre back. I mean, Matthias de Ligt could give you a tip or two, but I don't know how much you'd necessarily say they constitute to proper like leadership figures. They've got leadership traits, but like actual figureheads in a dressing room, I don't know. Answers on a postcard. I don't think anybody else has really got enough about them to really be a leader. But anyways, I'll probably wrap things up there. We're just about hit 8 o'clock on Sunday night. So yes, a big thank yous to everybody that has tuned in. Big shout outs to everybody that has come in and joined in with the chat. Has been a blast and has sent by an hour and 23 minutes in a flash. So big thank yous to everybody for tuning in and lighting the show up. Likewise there to Arsenal X-Rated. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Yes, currently on 215. The road to 300 is very much on. And also don't forget to likewise subscribe to Arsenal X-Rated, and also to Anfield Uncle Rods as well. A couple of channels there that you guys can go check out there with some solid content. So yes, please do go and check these channels out. Get Fuzz to 300. Let's do it. Let's do it, people. Big up, man. Big up to damn self, rapping. It's fantastic having you in the stream and posing some questions, some talking points, and giving the show a lot more content, because I only came into the show with one talking point, and it was literally about Rabiot coming to United, and we've literally spent about 80% of this show talking about everything else. Like all other things, nothing to do with Rabiot. But, it is what it is. It's the rabbit hole of YouTube, rabbit hole of a very communal show. So big thank yous to everybody for contributing to that. No Sunday night takeaway show, of course, as I believe Early Doors has also popped on his channel as to a situation, the situation that's going on there. But hopefully we'll have him back soon. Whether we'll have the good, the bad, and the ugly midweek, I shall hope we do. If not, then we'll have something instead. We'll have something else to replace it for the week. But hopefully, fingers crossed, that all goes back to the norm very, very soon. The Rabiot hole. Oh no! I like to get mini debates going. Well, it's questions that sometimes to people it depends on the sort of person that I guess answers it as well, because I like to expand upon points, to sort of give more than one-worded answers. You know, less closed answers and more open answers. Indulge with things a little bit. So it's thought provocative and always appreciated comments as well. So big thank you to everybody for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday nights, whatever you may be doing, however you may be spending, whether that's with family, whether it's a quiet, more solitude Sunday night. And yeah, hope everybody has enjoys the rest of the weekend and sobers up for Monday morning, because it's all going to be an early start for many a people, I'm sure. And yeah, we'll be back again. We'll have to see what happens, because we are, I don't know if international break, we've got I think one more game to go before then the preparation once again for Southampton for Manchester United begins. Ooh, dearie me. And then it's back to reality again. But yes, until then, guys, take care, have a good one. Likewise, take care, goodbye, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Ciao.